What's going on, CrossFit Federal? It is Tuesday, and today we're getting into a little bit different structural workout than we've done recently. So let's go ahead and jump right into talking about it. This one starts off with a 10-minute EMOM. Again, EMOM means every minute on the minute. How this works, on your odd minutes, you're going to either bike for 12 calories, row for 15 calories, or run 200 meters, just depending on what you have available to you at home. On your even minutes then of that first 10 minutes, you're then doing 10 shoulder to overhead. Now the shoulder to overhead bar starts on your shoulders, ends up overhead anyway, anyhow. Weight on that barbell today is gonna be 95 pounds for guys, 65 pounds for the ladies. When you're done with that 10 minutes, we go into a 3-minute rest. You then start another 10-minute EMOM. This time on odd minutes, you're doing 40 double unders. If you don't have double unders, keep it 1-to-1. Yeah, let's keep it 1-to-1 just to make sure we're not pushing that time domain too much. So 40 double unders or 40 single unders. Even is going to then be 10 kettlebell swings, 53 pounds for guys, 35 pounds for gals, or use whatever weight kettlebell you have at home. Swings can also be done with a dumbbell as well. And then 10 push-ups in that same minute. So 10 swings, 10 push-ups, then right back to 40 double unders. So we go through that for 10 minutes. We then rest 3 minutes one more time, and then we end with a 10-minute EMOM of every minute on the minute. We are doing 1 rep of a bear complex. Now, bear complex, again, 95 pounds on that barbell for the dudes and 65 for the ladies. A bear complex is going to be a power clean into a front squat, into shoulder to overhead, taking that bar onto your back into a back squat, and then a behind the neck press or behind the neck shoulder to overhead, and that is 1 rep. So you're just doing that complex 1 time every minute on the minute to end off this workout for 10 minutes. So again, just to reiterate, anytime you see that odd denomination, odd means obviously 1, 3, 5, so on and so forth, and those minutes. So you're gonna start here. Your even minutes will all be obviously what's under even. So let's go talk about our movements. We won't talk about the bike, row, and the run because I know that you guys know what you're doing and what you have access to there. But starting with that shoulder to overhead again is exactly what it sounds like. As long as that bar makes contact with my shoulders and starts here and ends up overhead, it doesn't matter how I get it there. So from that front rack position, I could strict press if I really want to. I don't recommend that. Either push press or push jerk, where I rebend my knees and get back under. I've got 10 of those, so I need to take it from my shoulder to overhead 10 times. Now, for the double unders, we've talked about double unders time and time again, so I'll try to keep this brief. I want you focusing on rebounding off your toes on your jump. So nice, tall chest, standing up nice and tall, making sure that as I'm jumping, it's coming off my toes. I'm not donkey kicking or piking. I want to keep my elbows in nice and close and try your best to relax your shoulders as much as you can. So tucking those arms in keeps me from taking my arms out and making my rope too short and then catching either my toes, the back of my head, whatever it might be. And then those hands are going to sit a little bit forward in the frontal plane of your body. So from here, that allows for better wrist rotation, especially if my shoulders are relaxed. That way I can churn through those double unders at a better pace and stay more consistent. So, again, 1-to-1 ratio if I don't have dubs, single unders. So 40 single unders or 40 double unders. Now, the next one is going to be kettlebell swings and push-ups. So using my kettlebell, the swing itself, these are American swings. So we're going all the way up overhead. Now if I have a dumbbell, you can grab one head of the dumbbell and swing that. If I'm swinging a dumbbell instead of a kettlebell, let's not go all the way up overhead. Treat it as a Russian swing and just go to eye level. The most important part about any kettlebell swing is it's the motion of the hips. So it's a horizontal motion of the hips. We're opening the hip and firing here, so it is primarily posterior chain, low back that's getting taxed in that, and trying to work at that explosive power in the hips to throw that kettlebell up. So we can modify with a dumbbell and swing holding on to the dumbbell, but just come up to eye level instead of all the way up overhead, because we're still getting that primary aggressive open of the hips. even though I'm not taking the implement all the way up. But if I've got a kettlebell, that bell's going to start about a foot in front of my feet. That way I can swing back in my first swing. I'm then going to squeeze my butt and throw that kettlebell forward with my hips to take it all the way up and overhead. So I've got 10 swings. Let's just say that that was it. 9, 10, and then 10 push-ups. So hands are going to be shoulder width distance. I'm then going to take my chest all the way down to the ground and all the way back up for every single rep. So making sure we're covering full range of motion. Think about keeping those elbows in close to your body. That's going to be a healthier position for your shoulder. It's also going to recruit more lat and a little more tricep and break up what muscles we're using for what movements we're doing in this workout. Now you're going to have to think about moving quickly on the kettlebell and the push-ups so you can finish that 20 total reps in the 1 minute and have some sort of time to kind of catch your breath a little bit before you go back into 40 double unders. So for the last one, we are just doing a bear complex. So that last 10-minute EMOM, the bear complex itself, I want to make sure that you're familiar with the fact that every one of these movements should be a separate movement. Meaning that even though I could technically combine my front squat, my power clean into a squat clean, I want to see a power clean into a front squat and make sure that they're two separate movements while we're doing this. Depending on how the bear complex is approached, sometimes you can put those things together, sometimes you can't. In this case, this is one where we want to see two separate movements. So that bear complex starts off with a power clean, into a front squat, into a shoulder to overhead, taking that bar back onto your back, into a back squat, and then shoulder to overhead again, but from behind the neck. That's 1 rep. So with that, again, it's probably going to feel fairly easy at first, but the reality is we've done 20 minutes of work leading up to this moment. We're already under duress. 95 pounds, probably going to feel a lot heavier than you think. So every minute on the minute, you're doing 1 rep of a bear complex, and then we're done. So this workout doesn't necessarily really have a score. You're either doing an RX or you're not. But this one is just about creating the opportunity to get lots of work in that 30 minutes of actual working time. So let's head right back to the board and talk through what we're getting ourselves into again. Again, 10-minute EMOM to start things off. Odd minutes for that first 10 minutes are going to be either a 12 cal bike, 15 cal row, or a 200-meter run. Even minutes, 10 shoulder to overhead. Now, if you don't have a barbell at home, these can be dumbbells or kettlebells. You can do single arm to get that overhead. If you do that, break up that 10 into 5 and 5. So make sure you're splitting up between right and left. You're then going to rest for 3 minutes. We then go into another 10-minute EMOM. This time on your odd minutes, you're doing 40 double unders. Even minutes, it's 10 kettlebell swings and 10 push-ups. So 10 swings. Again, if you don't have that kettlebell, take that dumbbell and grab just the one head and do the swing motion, but it's just up to eye level. That way you're not taking something where you don't have a good grip on it overhead and potentially having it come back down on you. So 10 swings, 10 push-ups. Really make sure on those push-ups, chest hits the ground every time. Arms are fully locked out at the top. Rest 3 minutes, one last time, and then 10-minute EMOM. Every minute on the minute, 1 rep of a bear complex. Again, that is a power clean, a front squat, shoulder to overhead, a back squat after you take it back and re-rack it on your back, and then 1 behind the neck, shoulder to overhead. All of that has to be unbroken. You can't drop the bar. Again, recommended weight, 95, 65. If you want to go heavier or lighter, that is up to you, but know that there is a lot of work here before we get to that barbell. So don't underestimate all of this and the duress your body's going to be in going into that bear complex. But if you do want to, or know you're capable of bumping up a load or something else like that, you are free to make those decisions. A lot of times when we talk about scaling, our brains naturally think about scaling backwards, but there is always, not always, but there's often times when an athlete that's been doing CrossFit for a while might look at something and go, I could do that a little heavier because that's going to be a better stimulus for me based on where I'm at. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying everyone needs to be upscaling everything, but there are times where when you look at the load or something that was programmed for a general gym population, there's always outliers. Now, going harder and faster is always an option, but when you're dealing with something where it's an EMOM and you only have to do this work and then rest the remainder, it is possible that this number may not be the stimulus we're looking for absolutely everybody, and it should be an exception that some people might bump it up. But if you're feeling up for it and if you know you're capable of it, again, going unbroken on that bear complex every time, that number doesn't have to stay there. It can go down, it can also go up. So that's what we're getting ourselves into today. Should be a good 30 minutes of work. Again, not a real good way to track a score on this rather than just show up, work hard, do your best. And should be fun. Lots of variety and variation in today's workout. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So with that, guys, it's Tuesday. This is the last Tuesday that we're doing at-home workouts. I mean, fingers crossed, because we never know what Inslee's going to do. But at the same time, can't wait to see you guys back in the gym. Have fun with this one today. Let's get after it.